Boy, oh boy, do I love music. Music is great. It feeds the soul. It speaks to you deep. For some people that's country music. For some people that's heavy metal. For some people that's alternative. For some people that's going back to grunge. But for me, there's nothing that beats a little bit of cool jazz. Alright, he's not music. This is Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Fall of Cybertron jazz. But he kinda speaks to my soul. We're gonna take a look at him next in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This is your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and I thank you for coming by again. And by all means, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check me out everywhere. Check out my work. I always appreciate that. And we're going to look at this guy. I very, very recently looked at the Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime, and with the announcement of a, I guess you'd call it a reissue on the current video game systems of the Fall of Cybertron game, I thought, hey, why not go back and look at some of these guys? And truth is, I'm kind of doing, I guess, a little bit of a build to one in particular that has sort of a GotBot true story attached to it. But for now, we're going to focus on this guy. And kind of like the Fall of Cybertron Optimus, this guy has gotten a raw deal. A lot of people are not a fan of him and say he's too small, and they say he is a shadow of the like the special ops jazz, the classics jazz, whatever it was. Honestly, I've never handled that mold. I know it looks phenomenal. It really does. And I know the era that it came from was great. But I opted to get this guy when I saw him in store. And why would I opt to get this guy? Here's why. Because he has one feature that I like better than the other jazz. He does not have the wing doors. And if you go right back to the original animation, Jazz did not have wing doors. There were some who did, Prowl, Blue Streak, and Smokescreen, but not Jazz. I like the silhouette. That's why I got him. So we're going to look at him, and we're going to try and give him a bit of a fair shake here, as best as we can. And do a little bit of talking about his paint apps, his posability, playability, and of course his transformation. So paint apps. When I got this guy, I remember thinking, wow, that's Jazz. And I'll admit, at the time, it had been a while since I went back and looked at the G1, and now I realize there are things off on this guy. He's missing a black head and blue eyes. In fact, it's reversed. Now, it's a great Jazz head sculpt, but the colors are kind of backwards. On his chest piece itself, we should have certain car detailing that we don't have. His upper arms should be black. His lower legs should be black, but I can kind of buy that with the wheels being there. I'm sort of cool with that. Over time, I had this knee get very loose. I did the floor polish fix on it, and now you can see it's good. So, because he does have paint apps that are off from his original animation, though they probably match up quite well with the Fall of Cybertron game, again, not perfect because there's certain energon detailing there that's not on this guy. I'm going to give his paint apps about an 8. About an 8. They're pretty good. There's a few things I could do that I haven't done yet. I don't know if I will. I don't know. I might. We'll see. But yeah, about an 8 for his paint apps. His posability, playability. Well, the arms go out about this far, so not great, kind of like Optimus, but they do go all the way around. There's a good 90-degree elbow bend, a swivel at the bicep. The hands, they never go straight really. They can go in, but when you pull them out, they're never quite straight. There's no waist articulation. The knees bend deep, a little over 90 degrees. There is, I guess you'd call it the thigh swivel. It's sort of limited, and it's way up here on his hip rather than in the actual thigh itself, but there's a little bit. The legs go out to about there. No ankle articulation. So, and truth is, he's standing well now, but typically he doesn't stand fabulous. So his overall articulation and whatnot, I'm going to give a 7 to. I feel like if I had that other popular Jazz, maybe I'd even mark him harsher. I don't know. I don't know what the articulation's like on that thing. But looking at this guy for who and what he is. So far we have an 8, we have a 7. We're going to look at the transformation for this guy. And truth is, I think the transformation is kind of where he shines. I guess I should point out, this is his weapon. I haven't put in a 5mm peg on the side of his arm because it can stick in there no problem. It's just a little Jazz blaster. It's okay. And of course it can obviously go in his hand. And it looks alright. I think it does anyway. So, where do we begin with this guy? Well, I want to point something out. Something that I don't know if everybody's going to know or already knows or not. And I'm pointing it out now because we're going to put him in his vehicle mode. When you get him in package, he's like this, and the first time you take him back from vehicle mode, you may notice it. This back piece, this whole piece here, there is a little tab right up here, and it goes into a slot on the back here. But that's not the only thing that you should take notice of. There are little slots here and another one on this side over right here. And when you are transforming this guy, you're looking to put those slots in a very specific location. Let's see if I can do it myself here now before I explain it to you guys. Because sometimes it wants to do it and sometimes it does not. Let's see if I can show it here. Try and get his body out of the way. Okay, right here and over right here, there are two little, I don't really know what you'd call them, sections that those little spaces go over. It's easy to miss it during transformation, and you'll say, wow, this guy isn't very sturdy, I guess, in his alt mode. But the truth is, yeah, he is. You just have to make sure to plug in each of the sides and that port on the back, and then he's pretty good. So taking him out of this mode and putting him into vehicle mode, what do we do? Well, let's begin by doing the easy part, which is folding his feet down, and then you'll peg his legs together. There's a post on this leg and a slot on this leg, and they just go together like that. They're probably going to end up coming apart before you're all said and done, but for now, that works. His arms, you can take them out and then untab from the side here, and really all that is when you bring it around, it kind of, I think it might friction into place. Maybe there's a tab there, but I feel like for me it just frictions into place. This whole door section comes untabbed on both sides, and now you have the arms out to the side. You want these arms to turn around, and then there's a little white tab there that goes into a slot on the door here. So you're going to slot that into the door, and it should look like that. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side and slot it into the door, and it should look like that. Now, a lot of people here overlook one other thing. His shoulders up here. There's a little hole that you can probably see, and there's a little, I guess, horizontal tab on the door. You should sort of bend the elbow or bend the shoulder in, and that will snap into place. And see if I can show it easier here. Bend it in, and it snaps right into place like that. Next, you want to untab that whole back section, and it will sort of hang away, and the whole body kind of comes apart now like this and sort of falls open, so to speak. You want to basically bend up the legs and bend down that front, and the whole thing sort of bends back over itself like that. These door sides, they just come down along and come down along, and when they come down, there's a tab up right here, or sorry, a hole up right here that goes connected to a tab right here on the side. Sometimes it wants to stay there and sometimes it doesn't. There you go. You put both of those on, tab them on, and then the fists fold in, and boom, in the end you have Jazz in his vehicle mode. Obviously Cybertronian. Some people have painted black along the windows here and really painted the front of this black, trying to make this look more like an Earth vehicle. The transformation is it's not hard, but you have to make sure everything is tabbed in. It's easy for it to be loose. I'm going to say the transformation is about an 8 as well. Kids can do it. You can do it sitting at your desk, but you're just going to want to know where things tab in. It's not hard at all. You're just going to make sure things tab in. And it's not hard going back to robot mode from this either, to be honest with you. He rolls okay. He sort of holds up on the bottom. It's not perfect rolling. It's all right, but again, I can see why people don't like the Cybertronian mode. I can. I mean, it's one of those things where, hey, you're saying it's Cybertronian. I did forget to do a robot comparison that I wanted to do. So while I give my kind of final thoughts here on them now, I'm just going to change them back. You'll see how quickly it is. I'm not focusing on the transformation. Overall score for Jazz, for this Jazz. He's about a, truthfully, he's about a 7. He's about a 7. He's an okay figure. He's certainly not the star of the line by any stretch of the imagination. He's an okay figure. Should you go hunting for this Jazz? You're probably going to find this Jazz more affordable than the other Jazz, probably more plentiful than the other Jazz, and for me, I think I would tend to look for this one, but the only reason I'm looking for this one over the other one is because I don't want my Jazz having the door wings. And there you go, he's back in robot mode already. As easy as that. I just wanted to compare him with a modern day deluxe. You know, there he is with Combiner Wars, my custom Combiner Wars Mirage, and you can see that, you know, they scale quite well. So overall, this guy is a 7 or an 8, depending on your sensibilities. I like him. You might like him. If you have the older version, should you replace it with this? I don't think so. I think they're both fine representations of Jazz. They just go for a different aesthetic. And I think that's about it. Jazz is pretty quick, pretty simple. So, as always, hey, I thank you for dropping by. I thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me. I am sure that it is valuable, so I really do appreciate it. And hopefully you'll come back and have another visit with me soon, right here inside the videos. Thanks for watching.